One thing I find very ridiculous is how in every Big Brother season, we still get housemates who come to the diary room and lie and try to gaslight the viewers. They try to manipulate the actual narrative in the house or try to deceive the viewers about what they are really doing whilst we are out here, even though we do not see everything, but at least from what the camera shows us, it completely contradicts all the rubbish they go into the diary room to spew from their mouth. And guys, that was exactly what happened today with the bandana guys. And by bandana guys, you know the people I am referring to. I'm referring to Siphalee, the ringleader. There's Ezra, there's Swiss, and then there's Luzuko, the one that I consider as the one that does not have a backbone, the one that I consider to be the one that tries to stand out. But at the end of the day, when you look through all of his facade, you get to see that this is one person that is desperate to be a part of the group. Yes, a certified groupie. And worst of all, every time I look at this guy and listen to him, he reminds me of that guy from last season. I don't want to mention his name, but you know who I'm talking about. That guy that every single day he would say that he's cooking the game, he's cooking. This guy cooked and cooked and cooked until the show ended. And then he realized, not even us, he realized that he did not even turn on the gas. The stove wasn't even on in the first place. Yeah, I'm referring to Sinai. Let him catch the stray bullet wherever he is. But Sinai was quite disappointing last season. And so when I listen to Luzuko, when I see the way he operates in the house, it just reminds me of that guy. And so, ladies and gentlemen, still speaking about the bandana guys, yes, their diary session was more interesting to me today because it was quite funny listening to them lie and kind of twist the narratives about what they've been doing for the past 3 weeks this season. So now, because they are all up for eviction this week, they came into the diary room to lie, to try to, assassinate people's characters, just lying basically, to gather pity votes from the viewers, So we're going to get into this video. This video is going to focus on, what's his name now? Ezra, Siphalee especially, and Luzuko's diary session, not even Swiss now, but Luzuko's diary session, all right? And I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Ashley's diary session was also kind of off to me, but on my earlier video, I spoke about my concerns about one particular thing she's always saying about her fellow housemates. So she repeated the same thing during her diary session, and I just feel like there's no need to bring it back to this video, all right? So if you missed out on that one, please go ahead and check out my previous video, all right? And yeah, before we get into this video, hi, you're especially welcome to my channel. My name is Glory Elijah. This is Frankly Speaking with Glory Elijah, and I am the girl with the tea. Without further ado, let's just get right into the details of this video. Now first, beginning with Ezra. Ezra has not been himself all day, and he had told Big Brother that this whole nomination situation has been affecting him. He has a strong feeling that all the ladies in the house, they have this weird animosity towards him, and this could be stemming from how his head of house reign panned out. And guys, I pondered on what he said for a bit and I laughed because, ladies and gentlemen, you and I all know the truth. Aside the fact that Ezra was very, very biased, a terrible leader, worse in every kind of way, kind of treated the housemates like they were, kids in the kindergarten setting. This guy was very biased towards a lot of the women, with the exception of those who were in their clique and caucus. But I wasn't really shocked by what Ezra said. The person that actually really shocked me was Siphalee. Guys, Siphalee woke up this morning feeling distraught. This guy woke up feeling disoriented, out of place. Even he had his breakfast on his bed. This guy was feeling sick. And it's very obvious that he's panicking. He's scared. And I don't know if it's guilt, but it's kind of made him paranoid, so he's now suspecting everybody around him that, oh, everybody is a betrayer, everybody is two-faced, and that was exactly what he was naming mostly people around him. And throughout today in the house, he's been making off comments like, oh, don't be a two-faced person. If you have anything to say, come to my face. How can you go and nominate me and then you come to my face and laugh with me? And I'm looking at this guy and I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, but since week one, haven't you been nominating people? Because we all know how Big Brother does it in his house. If you refuse to nominate someone, you're automatically nominated for eviction that week. And from what I remember, from what I've been watching, Siphalee is always very excited to nominate people. He's always excited to nominate the likes of Uyanda, Abobo, and he does it ruthlessly, and he brags about it. And he brags about certain people not being on his level or a competition to him at all. So watching him the whole of today and also listening to him in his diary session, guys, it was so funny. Let me read out some of the things he actually said. He said he's disappointed about the nominations and he feels like there's been a lot of conspiring going on against him. Guys, this is coming from someone that has been conspiring with Ezra from the get-go, with Ezra and Swiss and Melino, about how they were going to use their masculinity to, ensure that the females do not even smell the head of house title, not to talk of the head of house lounge. And whenever any of them wins the head of house title, when Big Brother gives them the option to pick a guest, that they should never pick a female. Siphalee and Ezra especially had this particular conversation. Ezra and Melino especially had this particular conversation. Melino even asked Ezra about Jojo. He said, whatever, they're just getting to know each other, that it doesn't matter, that the game is the game. They have to stick to the gents. Oh, the gents, the bro code. These people have been conspiring against the female for so long. And it's quite sad that production this season, they are not necessarily utilizing majority of the provisions of the rule book. If not, a lot of people should have gotten 2 strikes by now for breaking a lot of the rules in that rule book. So when this guy talked about people conspiring against him, I looked at this guy. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's such a big, dirty liar. And that's not all. He went further to say that, and what the guy said by they want to keep the ladies away from the head of house title, that it was just to motivate the ladies to do better. That it wasn't like a gender war. It wasn't like they did not want the females, to take up any leadership role in the house. I say, hey, Siphalee, you can lie. You can lie. Because just yesterday, I think it was even before and after the nomination process, these guys, with the exception of Abobo and Uyanda, because those ones, they've ostracized them from the men's conference. See those guys, including Sweet Guluva, even Muzi. I think at some point Muzi left, so it was left with about 6 of them. These guys were having a conversation that the goal was for them to be the top 6 for the finals. That is the goal. They should not leave any room for any female to join them in the finals. That is the goal they set for themselves. Hence the reason they want to continue being the only people winning the head of house challenge in the house and just completely ensuring that the females do not even smell, the level of their competition at all. And he was naming names of some of the girls that he felt could have betrayed him. He mentioned Nsuko. There was somebody else he mentioned again. He said they can't even look him in the eye, that means they betrayed him. And then he was talking about, guys, hold on a second, because this guy said a lot of rubbish in the diary room. This guy also said that, he was upset that he felt like if Swiss had listened to them and had taken maybe him or maybe one of their guys to the head of house challenger, that what's happening now would not have happened. They wouldn't have had a female head of house. That at least one of them would have won that title and the power would still be in their circle. And I'm like, dude, are you listening to yourself? You're saying one thing with one mouth and you're saying another thing. The thing you're trying to counter, you're repeating it again in another way. How dense can you be, bro? And that's not the end. He also mentioned that Nsuku is two-faced and a betrayer, that this is the same Nsuku that he shed tears for in week 1 when Kayb bullied her. I said, bro, you shed tears in the diary room, but you didn't shed tears to Nsuku. You encouraged her. Does not mean that you're not a betrayer. You're also one of those people that always calls her loud and, too vocal and very noisy. but you are the same person that encouraged her to unleash herself, to come out of her shell because Kayb tried to stifle her. And the weirdest part of this guy's spewing of nonsense in the diary room was when he was calling different people betrayers. He believed that Muzi betrayed him as well. And I'm like, bro, if there's anybody that should talk about betrayal in this house, it should never be you. Because you are the biggest Judas in that house. You betrayed Bunny B. Bunny B was the only person that gave you a chance to participate in this season. Like, guys, we all know the story. What am I talking about? We all know the story. Bunny B gave you a chance to become one of the housemates. She would have gone for Jube, but she did not listen to her fellow housemates. She chose you. She used her ultimate veto power as the deciding leader to choose you. She did. And then you went around on a smear campaign against her, joined people who were assassinating her character to do even worse. And then when you were head of house the same week that she was up for eviction, the second week, you had the veto power to save her, to give her another chance to stay in the house. But you chose not to. You chose to save Ezra, your friend, the same person that challenged Bunny B and told Bunny B that she's cancelled for not picking Dube, for choosing you. You became best friends with that same guy, and you chose that guy over the person that gave you an opportunity to embark on a life-changing journey. And now you sit here in this diary room and you're crying betrayal. They are two-faced. I say, Siphalee, you are the ultimate Judas Iscariot of the season. You are the ultimate betrayer. You are the ultimate two-faced person. So what are you complaining about? And then, lastly, Luzuko. This guy, guys, I never knew Luzuko was such a good liar. Not until today. Yeah. So first off, he said his mind was all over the place because of the nominations, because he's up for eviction this week. These people have been nagging about this thing since last night, especially him and Siphalee. They are finding comfort in each other as sore losers. And Big Brother had given him an opportunity to talk about what exactly had transpired between him and Uyanda on Saturday night. Remember, I told you all that when those two people were having, the back and forth, the cameras refused to show us. I told you all that the way things are looking now, seems like production is censoring anything that has to do with conversations around sexual harassment, because of what Nate has been doing, conversations around, in fact, even fights, and anything that has to do with violence or aggression. Production has been censoring everything. Hence the reason why every time something is about to happen, the cameras will just run away to something irrelevant, or they'll go on an ad break, which is quite frustrating, to be very honest. But Big Brother had given him the opportunity to tell what happened. And I did not like it because now we did not hear Uyanda's side of the story. But Luzuko has been on a smear campaign since Sunday about Uyanda. And so he told a very long story, and I call it a long story because, quite frankly, most of the things he said, even though the cameras did not show us, ladies and gentlemen, that was not entirely the case. I told you all that on Saturday, after the party, Luzuko had approached Uyanda and I told him, "You're very defensive." Just out of the blues, he started that kind of conversation. And the guy was, of course, questioning, "Why would you tell me that?" And I was like, you see, I've never said anything. You're already defensive. So you are provoking the guy, you're triggering him. And the guy, of course, is reacting to what you're doing. And then he went to go and call Melino. Melino came, Tyro came, Swiss came. And we know that once those people come, it will become a big thing. So it was very obvious that Luzuko was spoiling for a fight to make it look like, I was just trying to have a conversation. And Uyanda saw through that. And Uyanda told him clearly that night that, dude, this thing you're trying to do right now, you're trying to provoke me. And this was exactly the same thing you did. In fact, you are the reason why I had a fight with Swiss and Ezra the other day over food. Because I was complaining at that table that I don't want to eat with you guys, but you were the one telling me to shut up. And then Luzuko was not like, no, what do you mean? What do you mean? And because he knows that Uyanda has difficulty expressing himself coherently via the English language. He was leveraging on that and making it look like the guy was mad, like he was speaking insanely. So when this guy was in the diary room today and was telling his own side of the story, he completely omitted that particular version of how he had provoked this guy, knowing fully well that the guy was under the influence of alcohol. And everybody knows that when Uyanda is under the influence of alcohol, sometimes he cannot really control his emotions. So if you trigger him, he will respond. You react, he will respond. So this guy sat comfortably in that diary room, told a version of the story that we, the viewers, did not see. I know he does not know that the viewers did not see it. But he now claims that he did not do anything. Uyanda insulted him, called him names. Uyanda said XYZ to him. He completely omitted that side, that part. Even omitted his own role in that whole fight between Uyanda, Ezra, and Swiss. So he painted himself the saint and he went on a very interesting smear campaign against Uyanda. And when he was asked why he had nominated Uyanda, he said because Uyanda has grown proud and arrogant, that the guy believes is the only threat in the house, and so he's trying to humble the guy. I looked at Luzuko, and all I could do was shake my head. And once again, I was reminded that, okay, this was the same way Sinaye was last season, so I'm not really surprised, you know. They have so many things in common. The way they talk, their personality is so similar. So I'm not even surprised at all. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait for Sunday. I can't wait to see which of them will leave. I can't wait to see who is going home on Sunday. But in the meantime, just know that the Bandana gang, they are really pressed. They are very, very uncomfortable. The fire, in fact, the fire has been burning on their head. They are panicking. Siphalee especially does not even know how to handle his emotions. The guy is just angry all the time, like an angry bird going around the house. But ladies and gentlemen, I would love to hear your thoughts about all I have shared on this video. So please go ahead and do just that. I'll see you guys on another episode of Frankly Speaking with Gloria Elijah. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing evening. Bye.